When Captain America throws his mighty shield,
all those who oppose his shield must choose to yield.
Alright, as I mentioned, I think I genuinely believe I saved the best for last, as the Marvel Studio did, because this game is made, well, Sega is still the publisher, but for the version we're looking for, the HD version, it's Next Level Games, the guy who made the 2009 Punch-Out game and the Luigi's Mansion sequels. This is Captain America Super Soldier, which has also the best setting on them. It's a Type C video game, but it's not a sequel or a prequel, an interquel. It takes place very, comfily in that period of montage where Captain America and his companions that he just freed were ravaging through, Hydra bases. And this is centered around Captain America and a couple of his allies ravaging through one of them, specifically Castle Zemo. Basically, dweebs, the guy that shows up at the end of Civil War, we're about to see his father's castle.
Well, figures that the best Avenger would get the best game. I mean,
now let me start with the negatives just to get them away quickly. Similar to 4 God of Thunder, this unfortunately suffers through a lot of resolution problems. In a sense that the frame rate will shrug a lot. It struggles up a lot to reach 30. I do wonder if the 360 version is better in this kind of regard. But I'm pretty much sure that's all of it. The graphics are pretty solid, the art style is solid, the music is solid, done by the person who composed for the 2009 Wolfenstein game, so it fits. And it fits because this game is basically a mixture of Batman Arkham Asylum in terms of control, in terms of a beat-em-up, and the setting of Wolfenstein game. Captain America is storming an entire castle, which will function kind of like in a Metroidvania approach, and the combat will be like in Batman Arkham Asylum. The Wii version, unfortunately, suffers the worst of it, which, first of all, is developed by another studio, High Voltage Software, and implements the motion controls, which means that since it requires a lot of timing and reflexes, it's unfortunately sad. Keep in mind, I'm playing this blindly, and I'm still deciding just to trust to do normal difficulty.
So,
the game is relatively easy enough, but go on, Jova.
Generally, what's your favorite type of video game adaptation? Like, you've talked about the different...
Type C. Generally Type C, just to see basically function as a continuation or a prequel of the story. Just to see, like, an extension of it instead of having to be a clumsy retold. But here's the cool thing. We start for our tutorial in the trenches of World War II. And immediately, the game makes us, if you've seen the movie, the game pretty much tells you exactly where this is supposed to be, because the Super Soldier will talk about the event that just happened where Steve has freed, the liberators from the captivity of Dr.
What? He's a glorified
Doctor Who now?
Yeah.
For pictures and disappears when the action
Sorry,
starts.
could you repeat that?
I don't know.
Dr. Arnim Zola, which we'll see in this game. Yes, if you thought that the first Avenger played Zola in a more sympathetic way, this game is there to remind you that he's an asshole. Yeah, okay, this was my gut fucking up, but it wasn't actually the game. Because Zola is using, as we will see later, the Cosmic Cube to augment the Hydra soldiers to give them some fancy equipment, which will give a convenient excuse to have adversaries on a sort of an equal level for Cap. Keep in mind, as you will see in a second, he's still able to steamroll the floor with them. Another thing that is super improved compared to the previous game is the voice acting. Chris Evans voices once again Steve, and he actually does give a shit.
I'll take it from here.
He already sounds great.
Not only that, Chris apparently enjoyed a lot voicing for this game, to the point where, being a fan of all, he actually talked with the Russo brothers, and apparently the fighting choreography of Winter Soldier takes a lot of inspiration from the combat move of this game.
Huh.
So.
Wow, so
there's also a thing that I noticed in the Avengers movie commentary, that it's possible that the Shield wanting to, implement augment weapons using the Cosmic Cube is taken from the plot point or plot point of this particular game. Anyway,
Can you throw the shield?
yes,
Okay.
it's actually throwable separately. Camp has a standard like 3-4 combo with the square button, and the triangle, like in the Arkham game, is used for countering using the shield. Well, no, actually, no, it's the L1 button. I think, keep in mind, it's been a while since I played. There you go, L1. L1 blocks everything, both physical attacks and projectiles. If you perform a block at the right way, which the game flashes in order to showcase to you, Cap will be able to counterattack, and beat the shit out of the Hydra soldier. And one like the 4 game and the previous one, in fact, this game also does the job of making you feel the combat. You do, thanks to sound design and everything, you do feel every single punch. Anyway, there's Bucky, voiced once again by Sebastian Stan.
Wow, it's just like, well, I mean, dang, I mean...
The reappearing characters?
Sorry?
Did they get all the actors for the reappearing characters?
Not all of them, not all of them. The major one stays. Chris Evans as Captain America, Haley Atwell as Peggy, Sebastian Stan as Bucky, Neil McDonald as Dum Dum Dugan, J.J. Field as Ellsworth, Kenneth Choi as Jim Morita, and I think that's it.
Ah, so
the movie characters...
leaving.
No, unfortunately, no. Red Skull will be voiced by Kate Ferguson, Zola will be voiced by Andres Oliuzzo, and Howard Stark will be voiced instead by Lion O'Brien. But Howard will be just voice controlled along with Peggy, so you don't see them actually in the game. Again, this game functions basically as a proper extension to the movie. This commits, I guess, the slight scene that you kind of need to have watched the movie to understand the full context, but you can actually enjoy it blindly as an arcade-like experience.
Well, okay, let me put it this. If you know the basic origins of Captain America, you can enjoy this.
Time for one of the more satisfying things of the game. Zola has used the Cosmic Cube to create these bigger soldiers, the guys with a flamethrower that do not flinch too much just by punching them. So, what is Cap's solution towards this unsurmountable obstacle?
Throw a shield, yeah.
Hold on. The game will teach you in a second. You see that blue meter? You can use special moves with that. Using R1 and square, bam!
Boom!
And again, you feel everything.
And everything.
There you go, and stay down.
Die.
That is satisfying. Figures that the best Phase 1 movie would get the best Phase 1 video game.
Yeah, so far, I mean, it's only been a few minutes, and this is already the most interesting
Next
one
Level
we've
Studio
seen so far.
Next Level Studio basically gave a more production value towards this. You can tell there's a definitive imagination behind it. People actually cared about this project.
Get me Howard Stark.
Well, like I said, Shiro, it's much easier to care when you've given the.
There you go.
So
Again.
Even the title, it's presented, it looks like you're just wanting to watch an extension of the movie, compared to the other titles which were more sterile in their presentation.
Like, look
There
at how
you
far
go,
we've...
Captain America, Super Soldier.
Okay, look at how far we've come. We've gone from the trash that was Iron Man and Incredible Hulk to a game that was so good that it actually influenced a bit about how Captain America Winter Soldier would turn out. Like, gotta admit, that takes some mad props.
Alright, Peggy and Howard, like I mentioned, will function like your mission control, where Steve will occasionally tune into radio frequencies to checking with them for objectives and hints on what to do.
So there's an extras gallery, like.
Yes, I will actually show them. Compared to the other games, this one actually made me care about the extras. I will show them concept arts, alternate costumes, and a set of challenges.
It really is amazing how this game really does feel like the master of all MCU games. Like, it doesn't just feel like a proper game. It feels like an actual great game. Like, something I could recommend even if you aren't a fan of the MCU.
There you go. Dr. Zola and Red Skull supposedly are operating in a castle in the Bavarian mountains, which we will learn later is Castle Zemo. So Steve's job is to go there and, free soldiers there, pick up this dossier, because yes, this game also has a lot of collectibles. The dossier give you the just experience points, but you get other collectibles in the form of mini objects that help you unlock extra stuff, and a film reel gallery that you're about to see, which contains material where Dr. Zola himself will tell us his creations.
After years of planning and research, my time has come at last. Project Masterman is a reality. History shall record that Dr. Arnim Zola was the first to unlock the secrets of the human genome.
Oh, I've got bad news for you, buddy. You're going to just be a computer by the time of Winter Soldier.
There's a sort of an evolution in his thoughts, as you will see through the reels. So yeah, Zola has actually never given up on trying to reach the formula of the super soldier.
Again, that's one thing in the Ultimate Universe. A lot of the reason a lot of heroes were made was because they were trying to replicate the super soldier serum. Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man, and, well, hell, even the Green Goblin was accidentally created in trying to replicate the super soldier formula.
We must improve upon it. Herr Skull has secured a remote research facility and outfitted it with Hydra forces for my protection and assistance.
Watch knowing how Captain America tends to get for our forces, it will probably do lickety split.
To aid in my research. Under his supervision.
This sounded so annoying.
Do not be disappointed. I shall work tirelessly until I have unlocked Erskine's secrets and taken them to places he never imagined. Or perhaps feared.
Yeah, Zola doesn't really give a shit about epicality.
My purpose.
Well, he's a Nazi, imagine.
Okay then. Anyway, interesting enough, there was only one writer for this game, Christos Gage, which he specialized in writing superhero stuff because he also wrote like an episode of Arrow, a couple of the Daredevil Netflix series, and also was one of the co-writers of the Spider-Man PS4 video game.
Once the drop zone's secure, radio in, and we'll give the invaders the go-ahead. Steve, be careful. There's so much we don't know about.
Thanks,
Oh,
Carter. Oh! Well, it's funny you mention that.
Wait, I'll drop from here.
Cap, are you sure about that?
When is he not sure?
Alright then, let's try it.
Sorry about the door! Captain
the
America's
loading
first
times,
comic book appearance was in March 1941, yes.
They provide you some trivia, but they trimmed most of them out just for making the experience more seamless.
But yeah, that's another neat thing. Like, the loading screens do give some bouts of trivia, which, surprisingly, the other games didn't.
Oh, hold on.
I have a bad feeling about this.
You're not.
You
This
shouldn't
isn't
have
Star
said
Wars.
that, probably.
Yeah, this game also has a thing for timing humor. Alright, this teaches also you how to defeat enemies that are like limping on the ground, but they can still get up.
Limping, they were just lying there.
Yeah, using
They're
that
still
kind of move,
conscious.
Cam can put them out, before they can get up.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, I can tell that what Jay was talking about. Yeah, that the way he punches them in the ground. Yeah, that's exactly how Chris Evans does in the movies. Like you can tell it was mocap.
I don't know if Chris Evans himself did the mocap too, but once again, he genuinely reported to be enjoying the game. And honestly, after we've come so far with Robert Downey Jr. standing stone up his ass and Edward Norton being Edward Norton, I guess, this is actually so refreshing.
Well, then again, no, never mind. Yeah, like you said, Teo, maybe the reason he does it in the movies is exactly because of what you said, that he asked the Russo brothers to.
Mm-hmm.
to do it.
There you go. Another form of collectible that you will see when we showcase is a form of diaries. Diaries written by the holder of Castle Zemo, which is not the Zemo that shows up in Civil War. He said like in his father, Baron Henrik Zemo, which will be voiced by Steve Blum, and these diaries will function as a sort of an audio log, telling exactly why Castle Zemo is in the state it is, and why Baron Zemo himself is not the proprietor of the castle himself. anymore. There you go. There you go. Using select, you can use them. You can view the map, which will also tell you where some of the collectibles are. This will be very useful later on in order to clean up stuff. This game is actually very general in the sense that it doesn't soft lock anything. You can still recover any collectible at any point if you want. Again, thanks to the Metroidvania structure. This is how you unlock instead doors using these Enigma machines where you need to match the corresponding letter or number using both analog sticks.
You need
In
brains
this case,
to
the
go
number
that wrong.
5. There you go. This also needs you some minor experience points. As I shown before with the menu. Yes, Lives?
What happens if you get it wrong? Does it blow up?
No. It once again very generous. It just like boots you back to try
This
again.
isn't fear
Because
effect
if I
lives.
were, because if I were running such a devious organization known as Hydra, I'd want to make sure that to have a code in case either someone's dumb enough to forget it or if my enemies are trying to break in.
Alright, that person that you heard is gonna be one of the bosses of the game, a character that will show up only later in the MCU. But for now, the writers and the makers didn't know. There you go. The writers and makers didn't know, so they just decided to implement him here. You will see him in a later part. There you go. This is how you throw the shield. And Cap can not only knock out enemies, but whack shit up with the shield. So once again, a lot of satisfaction.
Let's just say that vibranium was well spent.
And Captain America died.
Not yet.
Oh.
Because it's time to implement instead the acrobatics. Oop. By pressing X at the right time, you will perform a good action instead of, remaining on the contraption of that Cap is using. Instead, Cap will flip like this, and this will be helpful because good timing will also help you fill in your super meter, meaning that you can, if you perform good enough, you can face a combat situation with a full super meter, making the next fight completely a cakewalk.
Well, now you got me imagining failing a QTE event and he just face plants to the ground like Spider-Man does in the third movie.
Once again, this game is very generous, so it doesn't have these kind of traps, surprisingly.
In regards to why they wouldn't have more advanced trap strips, remember, here's the thing, we're in World War II. While technology was advanced, it wasn't as advanced as modern technology is, so they couldn't always make things as intricate, per se.
Oh, there you go. When you see those flashes on the screen, like the yellow that turns into red, it means that enemy is trying to shoot you. If you press L1, Cap will block the impact, but pressing it at the right time will also deflect the bullet back to who shot it.
We have a saboteur in our midst. Converge on the area around the western cannon. I want him found and neutralized immediately, on pain of death.
Yeah, whatever you said, buddy. This is another one of the collectibles, a ceramic egg. These are scattered all over the place and are way more than the 50 you need to acquire to unlock all the extra stuff. So you're perfectly good to go even by losing a lot of them. Anyway, let me explain in the meantime again the composer, because Wikipedia doesn't credit it that much. So let me see. There you go, Bill Brown. Like I mentioned, he did work on Wolfenstein 2009.
And it shows.
But again, it's a perfect fit because the game is a Batman Arkham clone.
I'm really getting the hang of this now.
It's a Batman Arkham clone, but with in a setting that is very similar to Wolfenstein, a lone soldier assaulting a Nazi stronghold.
Yep. So yeah, get a Wolfenstein composer.
Oh, there you go. Bill Brown. He was an historical composer for CSI New York. I didn't know that.
Again, I just love how competent everything about the making for this game is. Like, even right down to the details of the composer they chose. I guess the only thing that does sort of take a bit of a hit are the visuals, but they still look fine.
It's the performance, like I said.
Yeah, they still look fine overall. Also, yeah, idle animations.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I want to see how many of these Hydra grunts I can take with just a simple shield throw.
Let's see.
Just aligning correctly and...
Bing.
Oh.
It's so beautiful.
That feels like something Cap would do in the movies.
Wow, even in the 1940s, you have to go up onto the roof to hope you get a good phone signal.
Especially back then.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Jova. It's just like in Batman Arkham Asylum, the comparison is, to the point. This game will make you feel like you're Captain America.
Yeah.
You will believe a man can throw a shield.
I mean, again. It's like I said. It's almost hard to believe that this is part of the MCU video game adaptation lineup. Like, we've seen some absolute garbage here.
Badass.
Yeah, but to have something so well put together like this...
Don't you know that's America's ass?
Yeah, I did it on purpose.
Straight. Damn straight.
But yeah, I get what you mean. That, again, Jova, this showcased the fact that Sega just needed a set of, good developers which had ideas in order to develop this game, and most of the developers instead did not know how to do it.
Oh,
anyway,
especially those developers that were making Iron Man and that terrible Beast Rider game at the same time.
Time to listen what Mr. Zemo has to say.
Oh boy.
Voiced by Steve Blum, by the way.
I was bequeathed the full history of the Zemo lineage by my father Herman, the 11th Baron Zemo, as he lay upon his deathbed. The sorrow of his passing is quite nearly eclipsed
Ironic,
by the joy
because
and pride
his
I feel
descendant will later say that Hydra will burn out themselves.
in our illustrious bloodline.
That's the thing, Jovan. As we will learn, I will structure all the entries of the Zemo diaries. By the end of it, this Zemo will be pissed off too.
So I guess you could say that Captain America: Civil War was actually paying
I legit
homage?
do wonder if this game, once again, influenced also some future storytelling for the MCU.
I mean, this game's so well designed that honestly,
Keep in mind
I am
that it's still
perfectly
technically not canon because some elements do not match up, unfortunately. But if you remove those things, it could technically fit well.
Yeah.
Back you up, but we need you to take out the long-range AA cannons before they can safely airdrop.
Copy. Maintain schedule. By the time they get here, the skies will be clear. Captain
Like
America.
Chris Evans sounds like he's having actual fun with this role.
Yeah, definitely.
Chris Evans, if you see the behind the scenes feature, Chris Evans loves this character.
Oh,
The
but
Flemish
believe it or not, there was actually a point in time when he was sort of adverse to playing Captain America back in the
But
day.
that's exactly because of it, Jova. Like, he didn't want to become. He was a bit hesitant at becoming a movie star. Like, that's why Kevin and his casting director. Okay, in that case, you have to do it because that kind of makes you the perfect person then.
How funny, because that kind of reflects how, the scientist guy decides that he is proper to be Captain America.
Yeah, that was clean, I think.
For those who haven't seen our first Avenger commentary, basically, like I said, Chris Evans was hesitant at playing the character because at the time he wasn't quite the superstar he is right now.
That, and he'd also kind of had bad experience with the superhero genre before.
Thanks to Fantastic Four movies.
True. But and so he was a bit hesitant, and not to mention he really loved the character. So he was a big pressure, not just from everybody, but from himself. He wasn't entirely sure if he was up to snuff. And Haley, I forgot her full name, but the casting director of Marvel Studios, she even said in the behind the features, even his reluctance in becoming a star spoke to us as the true Captain America.
Ironically,
so Chris Evans was born for this role.
I gotta say,
which is ironic because before this he played a character who absolutely wanted to be the center of attention.
I know, right? I gotta say though, ever since the MCU, Captain America was getting a lot of favors, the comic books notwithstanding. But it's he got his own great movie, he got a pretty stellar video game, and he got a lot more focus. Man, I mean, the MCU did a lot of questionable things in there, but almost none of that has to do with Cap.
And he had a good solo movie after this.
Well, that's exactly the thing. Joe, like I've said various times in car, I've said various times. if there's one thing that is practically beyond criticism with the MCU, is everything involving Captain America. Like the most perfectly treated character in the MCU.
I'll say, like hell, even though I don't like Civil War, I will hold that Captain America shines bright in that movie.
And it all came to a head in Endgame as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Stark would kill me if I don't take a look around.
Oh man, I am gonna miss.
Basically, Steve says that every time he spots like a collectible in the area you're in. As you can see, there are plenty to choose from.
Oh man, I am kind of gonna miss Chris Evans' cap.
Well, similar to Robert Downey Jr., there's no indication that he can come back for spin-off materials. Like Robert Downey Jr. is already stated that he has scenes in the Black Widow movie, for example.
It's like maybe it's like he thought. Oh, it's like he went to Marvel. Was like, listen, okay, guys, listen. I know I said that we left and we left on good terms. But my God, Dr. Dolittle was a disaster. Please let me come back.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
what about the what if stuff? Though? Are they gonna
it can happen there as well.
That's actually right. That's why I said to Jova, like, there's always the what if series, Jova. So.
Yeah. Didn't they already confirm that they would be coming back for that? Since voice acting.
I actually haven't checked, but
all the primary actors are coming back. They've told us that.
Okay.
Anyway, for those new type of enemies which have shield, you need to use a sort of stunning kind of move before actually taking them out. Or you can actually just use one of your super moves to insta-kill them. Again, the game suggests you to strategize to how to use your super. Anyway, I think this film really talks about one of the bosses that we will encounter. And a face you're familiar with, Lives.
I had assumed the Skull's head of security was a pompous old fool, but he proved to be neither.
Blofeld?
Sorta. Basically, Lives, this is Baron von Strucker, and I mean how he really should have been.
He will not be killed off screen.
These guy's gimmick is that he has a bionic arm, which is called the Claw.
This is a really interesting way to detail, like, things you'll encounter in this.
And it makes sense in universe. It's literally Arnim Zola recording for keeping for his studies. So it's not like Cap just understanding this out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, typically this would be presented in the form of a book, like a book page. This is actually really unique.
And just to remind everyone,
that moment when Strucker died off screen was kind of like it kind of indicated to me like I'm not going to enjoy Age of Ultron that much, am I?
Anyway,
and just to remind everyone, this game was made as good as it was, despite having to be under the normal stipulations that a video game movie tie-in has to be made. So, yeah.
Anyway, see you for the next part where we continue storming the base, at least for the moment.
See you then.
See ya.